Do I look like a hot model or something?
You do. It looks pretty good.
Nice. Welcome to Poor Man Mods. Today we're going to be working on this AE86 again, and we're going to be upgrading the 4-link suspension in the rear. That's what these beautiful bars are, and we're also adding Techno Toy Tuning traction brackets. You can see it comes with lots of bolts and bushings, and it looks pretty straightforward. And the pan hard bar is pretty easy, the sway bars were, so I'm hoping this will be, so stay tuned. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to install this, one of the 4 links, and also the traction bracket at the same time, because the traction bracket bolts here, and there's no point of installing the traction bracket and then uninstalling it and reinstalling this, so we're just doing it all at one time. And yes, our sway bar is not connected, we know that. We're in the middle of doing it, we're just doing all this at once. So, let's get this 4 link off and then traction bracket on, it's going to be awesome! Alright, so what you need to do, you need to get your 17mm socket on this side and a wrench on that side and just go to town. And you probably don't even need to hold it. If Tony let goes, it'll just let go and it'll just do that. It'll stop itself. So you don't even need a second person. Screw your friends. You don't need friends. You do it yourself. Alright, so once you get your first bolt off, you move up to the upper one, which is right where this lovely jack point is. So after a minimal struggle that we had to move the jack and get pry bars and pry really hard and get a sledgehammer and everything, now it should just pull right out. Okay, so here is one of the old 4 links, and here is the new one. This was almost the exact same length when we set on top to line up with the bolt holes. We just had to adjust it like 1 turn. Then you put your bushings in, and just like with the sway bars and pan hard bars and everything, we're just getting this as close as dialed in as possible to our ability. We're going to get it professionally aligned later. Alright, so to get this in place, make sure your bushings are on and get it in there. And just with a little bit of persuasion and probably some hammering and whittling, it will go to its home. Alright, so once you beat it and you get it in place, you can get your bolt through and then you can get your nut on.
Don't you want to get your nut off?
Well, normally we like to get our nuts off, but this time we're getting it on. And now it's hand tight, and we're going to leave it loose just so we can adjust it for down here when we do the traction bracket, and we can move it up and down. Okay, so there's 3 holes in this traction bracket. This big hole goes in a hole right here. I don't know if you can see it, but nothing went here in from the factory. But this bolt hole is the other mount for the traction bracket, and then these 2 are to adjust the 4 link. So this is going to be bringing the 4 link down. So what this does, it slides right over the factory mount. And we get a mallet in there. Just like that. We're not tightening this all the way, we're just making it a little snug because we still want to have some adjustment to get the other bolts in. Alright, so to get this bolt in, this comes with a big old bushing that you just slide in here, get it lined up with the bolt holes, and for whatever reason this likes to not go in, so you need to tap the bolt in. Now it's got to line up with the other side. Yeah! Okay, so what I did earlier when I made the traction brackets the same, or the 4 links the same length, that would have been if you haven't done these traction brackets. Now that you have done this and you're moving the mounting position, you need to extend that. And to do that, since we have this one mounted up and this one is not, to equally lengthen it out, all you do is twist the bar. You have to hold this end now, otherwise it'll spin. But since this one's right-hand thread and that one's left-hand thread, when you do this, it comes out of both of them and it lengthens it. And this is how they would do it at an alignment shop. And you just have to line the bolt holes up. Almost there. Get it lined up perfectly. Boom, it's done. Just needs to be tightened. Alright, now that we got this 1/4 link in the traction brackets, we're going to replace this link right here. It's just 2 bolts. It's pretty simple. Just remove the nut and bolts. Alright, now we're working on the top bolt for this link. It's a long bolt actually. It goes through the link and then through the frame over here. So you need a wrench and a ratchet for this one.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Yep. And time for the bottom bolt.
So what are you doing with the hammer?
I'm just tapping the end of the bolt.
Makes it a little easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier because they're 30 years old and there's a lot of undercoating down here. Okay, we're going to do some more prying to get this one off. Or we're not. Okay, that works.
Alright, cool deal. So that's out.
Yeah, it's a dumbbell. Now I can work out.
Sweet.
Alright, we get the new link with the bushings on it. It's time to try to install it without getting hit in the face with a bushing. Alright, so we got the link up. Now it's just time to push the bolt all the way through. And then get the nut on the other side while getting a whole bunch of dirt in your eye.
Is that last part necessary for installation?
You don't have to, but it's probably going to happen. And once again, we're just going to get this hand tight. We're not going to tighten it all the way just because we want some play with it until we get it into the bottom. Now this thing's ready to be tightened, the jam nuts and both the nuts and bolts. Alright, so we just got finished the driver's side. We did all 4 links and the traction brackets. It was the same exact process as the passenger side. Very straightforward and easy, just nuts, bolts, and washers. We adjusted everything to our specs. We just got it looking good. We're going to have a professional align it later, but we just did it to where everything would bolt on. We obviously don't have lasers and a big thing to do alignments on and everything. There's basically nothing else that we can do to the rear of this car. The only thing else that's going to be done is a cause differential, but everything else is completely done. We got 4 links, sway bars, traction brackets. Excuse you. So other than the diff, the whole rear of this car is done. We also are going to do a big brake upgrade, but that's not really rear suspension. But that'll be a whole nother video. Hope you learned something today. Hope you enjoyed it. So we'll see you next time. And this is pretty straightforward. I mean, it was very easy. This probably took us an hour to do total. Plus 2. Alright, so we just got finished the driver's side. Alright, so we just got the driver's side finished. We did all 4 link